Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. UK, French and German foreign ministers will hold talks with their Iranian counterpart in Geneva as part of efforts to ease the Israel-Iran conflict. Ahead of the meeting, UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy said a window now exists within the next 2 weeks to achieve a diplomatic solution. It comes after the White House says Donald Trump will decide in the next fortnight whether to take direct US action. The exchange of fire between Israel and Iran has continued, with the Israeli military saying it attacked dozens of targets, including what it called missile manufacturing sites in Tehran.
Correspondence between the United States and the Iranians, I can confirm that correspondence has continued. As you know, we were engaged with 6 rounds of negotiations with them in both indirect and direct ways. The president is saying that he will make a decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks. It's very clear and direct.
Meanwhile, Israeli forces have killed 23 Palestinians after opening fire on crowds gathered near an aid distribution site. That's according to witnesses and medics. Tanks and drones fired at thousands of people near a distribution center in central Gaza, run by the US and Israeli-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. A spokesperson for Al-Auda Hospital in Nuseirat confirmed they received 23 bodies and more than 100 wounded. The Israeli military is yet to comment. The GHF denied a shooting occurred near their sites. The Hamas-run health ministry says more than 400 Palestinians have been killed in similar incidents since May. India's Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau is yet to decide whether flight data and cockpit voice recorders from the Air India flight that crashed last Thursday will be sent overseas for decoding and analysis. At least 270 people, most of them passengers, were killed when the London-bound Boeing 7878 Dreamliner crashed less than a minute after taking off from Ahmedabad Airport in western India. Some media outlets reported that the black boxes are being sent abroad, but the Ministry of Civil Aviation clarified that no final decision has been made. A U.S. appeals court has ruled that President Donald Trump can keep control of National Guard troops he deployed to Los Angeles, despite objections from the city leaders and California Governor Gavin Newsom. Mr. Trump deployed the troops in response to widespread protests against his immigration crackdown. Local officials called it an unnecessary provocation. The decision halts a ruling from a lower court judge who found Trump acted illegally when mobilizing the troops. Southern Mexico has begun a major cleanup operation in the aftermath of Hurricane Eric, which hit its Pacific coast as a powerful Category 3 storm. A popular tourist town in Oaxaca State was left without electricity and phone coverage after the storm damaged infrastructure, including 2 hospitals and flooded streets. The NHC warned of a potential for life-threatening storm surge in the hurricane's wake, and Mexico's Environment Ministry also warned of waves of up to 10 meters high. Zambia's President Hakainde Hichilema has abruptly ended the national mourning period of the former president Edgar Lungu in an escalating standoff between the family and the authorities about his burial plans. It follows the last-minute cancellation of the return of Lungu's body from South Africa by his family, leaving the country uncertain about when and where the former leader will be buried.
It has now been 7 days, since the untimely passing of our 6th Republican president.
In his address on Thursday evening, President Hakainde Hichilema announced an immediate end to the mourning period, saying the country needed to resume normal life. And an 81-year-old man accidentally drove his car down the landmark Spanish Steps in Rome before getting stuck on the way down. One of Italy's most recognizable monuments, the Spanish Steps, have never been intended for vehicles to be driven down. The driver tested negative for alcohol and told officers that he was on his way to work. Emergency services had to use a crane to remove the car from the landmark. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.